Marshall Daniels built an empire online as young Pharaoh. He racked up millions of views, cultivated a massive following, and operated under a dangerous assumption that having a viral audience effectively made him immune to the rules of the real world. At his peak, his digital footprint was staggering. He commanded over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube and generated more than 46 million video views. He even secured the legal ownership of the federal trademark Young Pharaoh, officially branding his push for what he called spiritual and mental liberation. Much of his influence stemmed from his origin story. Growing up in upstate New York, Daniels leveraged his difficult background and a brief prison sentence on a weapons conviction to build deep countercultural authority. He spoke directly to his base, framing himself as a scholar and a fighter who had beaten the system. That outlaw credibility caught the attention of mainstream politics. In 2021, he secured an invitation to speak on stage at the Conservative Political Action Conference. For an alternative internet broadcaster, this was the ultimate institutional validation. But Daniels was also building his brand on aggressive, increasingly extreme conspiracies. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he broadcasted claims to his followers that the vaccines were filled with rat brains and specifically designed to alter human DNA. When millions of people click, like, and share those claims, the algorithms reward the creator with money and visibility. This feedback loop can trick highly successful broadcasters into a fatal miscalculation. They start believing that their digital influence translates into genuine sovereignty, making them completely untouchable by systemic rules. The real world struck back quickly. Once civil society watchdogs highlighted his history of anti-Semitic remarks, CPAC abruptly revoked his invitation and scrubbed him from their schedule. Almost simultaneously, major tech companies cracked down, purging his channels and deleting his primary revenue streams overnight. Instead of retreating, Daniels retaliated in court. He filed a 36-page federal civil rights lawsuit against Alphabet, Google, and YouTube. He argued that these private tech companies were effectively operating as state actors, taking orders directly from the government to censor his First Amendment right to free speech. He pointed to public letters and demands made by high-profile politicians, specifically calling out Congressman Adam Schiff for pressuring tech executives to target medical misinformation on their platforms. He also named Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, citing her public warnings that tech platforms would be held accountable for the content they allowed online. Daniels claimed these politicians orchestrated a massive conspiracy to silence him. This chart shows the legal framework that ultimately crushed his lawsuit. Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. This statute governs how information flows between a user, a private platform, and the government. As the diagram illustrates, Section 230 creates a structural firewall. It explicitly protects internet service providers from liability for restricting content they find objectionable. This grants private platforms absolute editorial discretion over their networks, meaning they can ban users without violating the First Amendment. The federal court dismissed the lawsuit with prejudice. Confusing a private tech monopoly's terms of service with the Constitution is a devastatingly expensive error. Daniels was ordered to pay $38,576 in attorney fees to Google and YouTube. Exiled from the corporate internet, Daniels moved his family to Texas. He tried to rebuild his financial infrastructure by funneling capital through an alternative, paywalled system he branded A10 Banking. But the loss of his main platforms accelerated a personal spiral. Observers noted increasingly erratic live streams, mounting domestic instability, and a pattern of calling 911 simply to document online rumors he felt were harming his reputation. That constant cycle of digital drama eventually crossed over into the physical justice system. By March 2026, the noise generated by his online behavior caught the attention of real-world authorities. Daniels was taken into custody in Ithaca, New York. The charge was criminal contempt, a severe legal penalty typically resulting from an individual's failure to comply with strict court orders or specific conditions of release. Criminal contempt acts as the ultimate trap for rogue creators. You can argue with a chat room and can spin narratives for your subscribers, but the judicial system does not care about viral context. It demands strict, non-negotiable compliance. Today, Marshall Daniels sits detained in a facility in upstate New York. He is offline, out of the algorithmic loop, and completely stripped of the independent broadcasting power he once used to mobilize millions. In a cruel twist for someone who built an entire brand around controlling the narrative, his legacy is now entirely at the mercy of rival commentary channels. They are the ones dissecting his public arrest records and broadcasting his downfall. The young Pharaoh persona was built on the projection of absolute authority, but that digital illusion shatters the moment it collides with the cold, unyielding reality of the state's penal code. No matter how fierce audience loyalty gets, or how fast a video spreads, those metrics can never legally override jurisdictional boundaries or private corporate policies. When an internet personality treats every real-world rule as optional, they aren't establishing sovereignty. They are simply turning their camera on, hitting record, and documenting the undeniable evidence for their own